Hey, welcome to this week's Midweek Howl, the non-paranormal part of the From the Shadows podcast. And joining me, as always, is the Ozark Howler from Parts Unknown. Well, it's not really unknown. You're in the Ozarks.
There you go. That says it all.
So, I wanted to tell you a story. We talked briefly, and you said you're going to walk your dog, and I said, it just may save your life walking your dog.
Not where I'm at, but go ahead and tell me the story. You said they don't make you think of a story. Somebody, figured in Ohio it would be dangerous with all the damn Haitians wanting to grab your dog.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in a second. But anyway, it's like 2 days ago. Well, I don't even know. It's 5, 6, 7 miles away. It's pretty close to our house. There was an explosion. This house completely flattened. Okay. Well, the house blew out, and it actually blew the house off the foundation to, like 30 feet off the foundation. Right. It's like sitting in the yard, and it the thing looks like a tornado went through. Okay. So sadly, there were 2 people in the basement doing what they say was an inspection for mold. It was a husband and a wife. And they were down there inspecting the people that owned the houses, and down in the basement. The explosion killed her. The husband is not dead. He is still alive. I don't know how, but they said a chair or something fell on him and kind of kept him from getting burned up worse or whatever. But outside, the owner of the home had gone outside to walk the dog.
There you go.
And she got hurt, but not nearly as bad as what she would have if she'd have been inside. So therefore, walking the dog probably saved her life. But if you saw the pictures of this, you cannot even believe that anybody survived this. It's one thing to see this aftermath with a tornado, and that's, I wouldn't think would be as sudden or as a dramatic impact as an explosion would be. But, it was amazing. It was amazing. I don't know if did you guys ever come across anything like that in your days?
An explosion like that where you pulled up? Yeah, there's a whole city block at Jeff City blew up for natural gas. It's a bank parking lot now, but it used to be a bunch of 2-3-story walk-ups from the 20s,
Yeah.
And I've seen several tornadoes. Yeah, I've had several tornado where they'd call you on the radio and tell you to go out to such and such town and you got hit by a tornado.
And what do you think walking up there? Like, do you just think there's no way anybody...
First thing I do, especially if it's dark, I give it 10 or 15 minutes before I even drive over there. Because when you're in the academy, they make you memorize all these people that got killed. And one of them, I'm going to see if I can look it up. And I think there's 2 of them from back in the old days. Here you go. June 12th, 1970, when Trooper William R. Brandt lost his life. June 12th, 1970, when a tornado-like wind blew his patrol car off the road into a concrete bridge abutment on U.S. Highway 36 near Macon. Trooper Brandt had been on storm watch alert in the Macon area.
Wow.
Storm caused extensive damage to the troop headquarters, ripping the roof off completely, blowing down. So a 325-foot tower, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, hey, it's so bad. I want you to go out there and get in your cop car at the station and see how bad it really is. And you get blown off.
Jeez. Now, was he on the way to somewhere? Or?
No, he was just, they told him to go out there and watch. They would do that a lot of times. I don't know what time of the day or evening it was, but yeah, you would go out there and sit on the road and say the road's getting icy, icy road conditions, or we see a tornado touch down, they'd say, we got a tornado, we're on a tornado watch, drive out there and see if you see one.
That seems kind of like especially in this day. Now I know this has been
now they have weather. In 1970 they didn't have all that stuff. They had NAWAS phone service still, and
so the weather watch was go stand out on the bridge and see.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so I always had that because you have to memorize them all. Like you could get asked, who got killed June 12th or whatever, 1970. And if you didn't know, they might not let you eat lunch that day in the academy.
Are you serious?
It's no chicken. I mean, this is back when there was no tattoos. You couldn't be a state trooper if you had a visible tattoo, period. Sorry. That's the way it was back in them days. So, yeah, badasses ran the show. And they had a thing called Lunchline Trivia. And if you know what I mean, depending on what question you got asked, if you got it wrong, you're done.
I'm going to tell you, I've walked through McDonald's a couple times here on my new route on the way to the bathroom, and they should do some Lunchline Trivia there at McDonald's. Some people should.
I always had that in the back of my head, and I made sure the wind blew by before I went over there. Mm-hmm.
But so, did you ever pull up on places that?
Absolutely, I pulled up on a trailer park that I had drove by 100 times in the 6 months previously, and 2/3 of it was gone. Gone.
And so, what do you
little tie downs and concrete pads?
Holy smokes! So, do you go in there and just start seeing if anybody's hurt, or?
Well, yeah, you just kind of pull up. But these things, there wasn't even no. Maybe I just happen to have the smartest rednecks where I'm from. When there's a tornado, most of them got the hell out of the trailer park. Now, you get east of the Mississippi, I don't think they're that sharp. So you wait, you give it a few years. When a tornado hits Ohio, hits Springfield, Ohio in a couple of years, it'll be full of fucking Haitians, and they won't know about a tornado. Does that make sense? It'll be
okay.
Haitians will be relocated to Long Island.
Hey, so we got to set the record straight. There are no Haitians eating cats or dogs in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, yeah. We know that the governor has said it. The city management has said it. There are no. The video that was going around that everybody saw of this lady who was actually eating a cat was in Canton or Akron, Ohio, and it was somebody just totally methed out. Okay, right. All right.
So now, you tell me those stories are exaggerated?
They're even worse than exaggerated. They're just not true. Now, what is true though is that they have put
police reports of it.
No, there's not even police reports of it.
Dude, I was listening to the 911 calls people were calling in. They got released the day after the debate.
Those weren't even real. The
mayor's already apologized to it. He said he hadn't known about it until after they released them.
I'm just telling you, the Attorney General of Ohio, the governor, I mean, he just came out and just said, look, this is not happening. Quit believing it. Quit listening to these stories.
Is there 20,000 Haitians in Springfield?
I don't know how many there are. I can't, Springfield is a town of about 50,000 people, if that.
Right.
Okay. So I have not heard actually how many Haitians have been, but now they're all there legally. Most of them. They said there's hardly any that aren't there. They're like what was going on in Haiti, and they were allowed to come because of persecution or whatever.
Executive order.
Yeah, whatever. So they were allowed to come. And in fact, a lot of the local industry said they're some of the best workers they've ever had. Like they're glad to get. Now the problem is they are adding, even if it's 10,000 to a city of 50,000 that quick, it's put a strain on a lot of city services. And that is what the real problem is that these infrastructures and town governments are not equipped to have an influx of 10 to 20,000 people, and help get them housed and clothed and fed or whatever, for whatever reason they're here, So it's kind of, they're not eating. Now, I just saw the lady who actually started the whole deal inadvertently.
Kamala?
No, it was not. It was not Kamala. Okay. It was not her. Okay. Sorry. Not this time. Anyway, but the lady who had made the post said she had no firsthand knowledge of anything. She just knew that her neighbor's cat was missing, and that was it. And then it just snowballed. And it's like, but here's what the real thing is. So the nut jobs that don't live around here, that don't live in Ohio, that hear this nonsense being perpetuated by, whoever, There's been 33 bomb threats in the city of Springfield, including at the schools. And it's people from the outside calling in and saying, I'm going to bomb those Haitians and I'm going to bomb Springfield until they do. It's ridiculous, and that's the part that people don't really see or care about. Apparently, it's funny to put a meme up on Facebook and, oh, the dog's a cat. But what you're not seeing is that it's disrupting all these people's lives that have nothing to do with it.
The Haitians' lives or whose lives?
Everybody in Springfield, the people that live in Springfield. The people that have always lived in Springfield, they're the ones whose kids aren't going to school because there's 33 bomb threats to different things, including the schools.
I thought they weren't going to school because there wasn't enough translators.
Who for the American people that live in Springfield?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're twisting my brainwaves around.
I shouldn't. I'm not. There shouldn't be twisting your brainwaves around. I'm just telling you the facts. So any of our listeners, we want them to be the most informed and give them as much local knowledge as we can. I can't speak on anywhere else in the country, but I can speak on Ohio. So there you go. So that's what's going on. There's no dogs or cats being eaten in Springfield. Now, it may have been one or something, but I don't know what that.
Chinese ain't getting them.
I don't know. Well, that's what my stepdad, he said, the local Chinese restaurant here was always, famous for being teased. I mean, I think every Chinese restaurant was always famously teased as having served cat or dog. Our Chinese restaurant here in town is under new ownership, and my stepdad will not eat there now because they cleaned it up too much. Said they took the flavor out. Like they went in and cleaned up the restaurant. And he said, I think they ruined the flavor because they made it too nice in there. So there you go.
Well, I was gonna say, do we have an official food of the From the Shadows? Is it dog or cat or Peking kitten or what is it?
Sweet and sour kitten. Sweet and sour kitten. Mm-hmm. Also, before we get too far along, I want to give out send a hug to our buddy Stacy Brown again.
What's wrong with him?
Well, not only since the last time we talked, now Florida State is now 0-3. Okay. So they're like one of 3 teams ever to start the season out in the top 10 and then go 0-3. So they've completed. And then, he's a big Miami Dolphins fan, and old Tua last Thursday night got knocked out of the game with a concussion and may have to consider retiring from the NFL. And I mean, he barely got hit in the head.
Like my son was trying to tell me that they got some helmets now that some of them guys wear that's got sensors on it that somehow tells them that you've been hit too hard and they got to check you out in high school.
Oh, they have them in high school? Well, the pros, if you watch, there's about 1 guy or 2 guys on each team, and most of them are linemen, and they'll have this extra big helmet. And it'll be like the Steelers guy, he was a right guard or left guard or something, and it was a great big thing over top of his helmet, and they had painted it to look like his helmet, like the cloth or whatever was over top of it. But it's to give you extra protection for your head, So I don't know. I mean, look, it's no joke. I mean, I'm sure I had 5 or 6 concussions in high school. And probably 1 or 2 in college, which, I mean, it's no joke, It's back then, if you said you had a concussion, they just made fun of you because there's no, it's not like your arms.
Protocol was getting a cigarette and you sit down for a minute.
Well, they also, right before I started playing, still gave you salt tablets because they thought that's when you sweated that, because there was salt in your sweat, you were losing too much salt. So that's why you needed to take salt tablets instead of going and getting a drink of water. Times have changed a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just shaking my head, man. I'm just shaking my head.
How did your boy do anything in his last high school game?
No, they lost. Got beat down by my alma mater.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Now, do you like give him a hard time because of that, or do you?
No, I don't say anything to him.
I mean, it's not because you're scared of him, right?
No, my kids, I brought them into this world. I can take them out. There's just what's not. I mean, there's nothing. It's all been said, right? They don't hold me on that. The coach, by the time they've been yelled at for the bus ride home, the bus ride. They go to practice. They got home from about 10:50, 10:55. Had to be back up at the clubhouse the next morning at 8:00. So
now, do they watch film?
Yeah, they watch film and get their ass reamed out for.
Because around here now, I'm sure you guys have it, but we have Huddle. It's called Huddle around here.
Yeah, they got it here too. Oh yeah, you can see all the highlights and lowlights, and
they break it down for each kid.
See who's who. Yeah, the girls use it to stalk boys. There's all kinds of nefarious activity out there, but.
Now wait a second. The girls stalk the boys on Huddle?
Yep. They want to see if you ask a girl out of where they're going to check your Huddle stats and see if you're worth shit or not, because we don't want to get knocked up by some loser that's going to go community JCO or something. You want the big dogs, right?
God. Okay, I never thought of it that way. I didn't know that Huddle was a new version of a dating app or whatever.
Yeah, too bad Tyreek Hill didn't have it, and he would need to drive a car around to get these girls.
Do you see how many kids he has?
Yes, I just shook my head. I'm going to give you it's a word of advice from Inside Baseball from the podcast. If the cops are Cuban and you are in Florida, do not screw with them. Latin males are still males, and they got no problem putting you in what they perceive to be your place. So I can't believe that he didn't get beat up. He got handled so nicely because they knew who he was. I think about 30 seconds one of them says that's Tyreek Hill. That's the reason why they didn't pull him out and beat him up.
Do you think they knew he was Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, the second cop says, "Hey, that's Tyreek Hill." In the videos, watch all the videos.
I saw where one of his teammates stopped.
Yeah, he got put in cuffs too.
Yeah, they were gonna arrest it. That's just craziness. But now, do you by law? Now, I wondered, do you by law have to put your window down?
That or they'll smash it out or open your car door.
But I mean,
I'm surprised they didn't smash it out when he put it up. That's another thing. They handled him so nicely because of who he was. Otherwise,
But seriously though, do you have to put your window down?
You have to make contact with him. You either have to put your window down, or when they detain you, you have to do what they tell you. When they pull you over, you are under their control. They have stopped you. You are under their control. So if you don't put your window out, they can jerk you right on out to the street.
So these guys that go around and provoking the cops and stuff like that.
Like his stupid teammate that stopped that Range Rover and got out and was talking all that shit. No, I'm just here looking. I'm just there. And they kept telling him, hey, you need to go on. You can't be in traffic. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. And he jacked around until he got put in cuffs. Dude, just go. Just leave. Just do what you're told. Especially in a municipality like that, you have special statutes called fail to obey.
Yeah.
Now, troopers have it. Like Missouri just has a fail to obey. It's got a highway background to it. So, like, if I'm in an accident and I tell you not to stop, it's because I don't want the car behind you to hit you. I don't want a car, you know what I mean? Somebody run off and hit you. It's a safety deal. You have to obey at a reasonable direction. I think in Missouri it's called a reasonable direction at a traffic accident or incident or something like that. Where you get into municipalities like Jefferson City, where I grew up, the city's got its own enforcement. Essentially, any fail to obey a lawful command of a police officer, they tell you to go stand on the sidewalk or sit down on the sidewalk or whatever. They have to quail the natives, and they have city charges. Mm-hmm.
So, Okay, so let me ask you this: do people act worse now than they did back when you were?
Yeah, because when we were kids, we would. Yes, 20 years ago he would have got the shit. 20 years ago he wouldn't have acted like that. I mean, did you watch Charles Barkley and those guys talk about it?
No, I didn't.
They said the reason why, he said when you want to get a video of showing your kids what not to do, show that video. But they didn't do it back in his day because they got their ass kicked.
And this has nothing to do with black or white. This is just anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just so anybody that's listening.
So back to the tinted windows. There was a police officer. There was a police officer killed on a traffic stop within the last 2 weeks. Missouri had 2 of them killed in the 80s. That's why Missouri has tinted window laws. They walk up there and they already got their gun out on them real dark windows. Like in the city they call them murdered out. They double up the tint, and you can't see it all in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then they got their gun out already, and they just put it down and shoot the cop. So, in Miami it's not like Springfield, Ohio, right? So Miami's got some real criminals down here. Just watch Scarface. It's based on truth. You know what I mean? You can't. What?
Yeah.
Well, they get some tough people.
Yeah, I get it. You can't take. Look, you can't take chances, and when somebody's acting that way, it gives you reason to be on high alert.
Well, maybe, yeah.
I mean, sure. So, but back in the day, though, when you pull somebody over in rural Missouri, they didn't say.
They didn't act like that.
They didn't act like that.
They didn't act like that. But I had a pretty long fuse compared to some people I work with. First of all, I was over 6 foot tall, so I didn't have little man syndrome.
Okay.
And the other part of it is, never mind. I'm not going to finish my conversation. What I was going to say, but yeah, I never had a lot of, issues like that. So.
Yeah, I just want. I mean, I would never imagine acting that way. So, but like I said, I got beat at home. So
yeah, that's right. So it wouldn't cross your mind, sit there and just refuse and talk back, would it?
No, because I knew what happened when I refused and talked back.
All right, that's what I mean. So we just had better, the world was a better place back in them days.
Well, it was a lot different. That was for sure. Oh my gosh, that was definitely for sure.
You done forgot and then got.
No, I didn't forget. I'm trying to dance around the subject delicately.
Go ahead. Why? Because your frame will go off or what?
No. Because I don't want to throw. Okay, so you remember the reason? You remember the reason we couldn't do the podcast a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah. Trouble in Paradise.
So all of a sudden, this last week, everything's great in Paradise.
Same personalities.
Same people in Paradise. And and so, this is not my first rodeo. This is my 4th daughter going around. Okay. So, and I always tell.
Not to mention other people's daughters that you had a string of when you were young.
Well, those records are sealed.
Okay, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a special. I was just putting out there that you have a special angle that she might not appreciate.
Well, so she always asks me. She always says, "Why don't you ever treat any? Why aren't you ever real nice to any of my boyfriends?" And I've had to explain to her. I'm like, "Listen, you're the 4th one to come along, and all the rest of them got the same speech." Is if I have to break somebody's leg, I don't want it to be a friend.
Right, okay? That's right.
Like if I had to break the judge's leg, I'd feel bad about it because he's my lifelong friend.
That's right.
Okay? So
you don't want these boys to cloud your judgment. You need to keep it all business. You don't want to make it personal.
That's right. No hesitation. Okay. So I walk in yesterday, Sunday. We're recording this on a Monday, so this is hot off the presses. So I walk in, and I know this young man's going to be here in my house
because your wife texted you and said, "Hey, so and so's here at the house. Be cool." That's what my old lady would have said. My old lady would have said, "Don't come home."
No. So I came home and I walk in and I address and I said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he kind of looks at me and I go, "What happened to the guy that was here last week?" And he just has no idea what to say. I go, "Oh, look, I was just getting used to a new guy already, and now you're back? You guys got to keep me informed on who's going to be here so I know whose name to remember." And so I think the kid got the idea that, look, man, you're on thin ice. So tread carefully. Tread carefully. You're on thin. I can get rid of you quick.
You didn't just threaten him and just, "Hey, dude, I don't know what's going on, but
no,
the only thing keeping me from killing you is I don't want to."
Well, I'd have to fill out a lot of paperwork.
I didn't say you had to kill him. I just that's the problem nowadays. People don't realize the only thing keeping the other person from doing something violent to them is they don't want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
understand it
because nobody has enough self-control that they're just gonna. Is that what you're saying?
In the old days, let's go back 150 years ago. Jesse James, right?
All right.
And you slighted me in some way or disrespected me. We went fisticuffs or guns right there, right? You sorted it out.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And nowadays, nobody gets to sort anything out anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't think I should go fisticuffs or.
You don't know, it could be doing this kid a favor. I mean, wouldn't you like to have your ass kicked when you're 16, 17? It don't really matter than when you're a grown man.
I don't know, man. I mean, if some young punk started mouthing off, it might get ugly.
But see, but my point was right. Okay, you and all the girls' daddies, babies' daddies, and stuff that you saw, babies' mamas' daddies that you saw, or whatever you had going on. Okay, you never dared talk back to them, did you?
No, I never.
Because you understood violence. Yeah. You understood violence from a young age, correct?
I absolutely did.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. And now there's just no violence anymore. Or there's it's not applied in the right times and the right places of young people's lives to make a difference. What is that? Bongino always quotes one of them writers that says, "There's the life you learn from, and then the one after that. Everybody's got two lives: the one they learn from, and the one after that." I think it was from the book The Natural.
But that they made it into the movie with Robert Redford.
Yes.
That's a great quote, though, right? Everybody's got two lives: the one they learn from, and then the one after that.
Yep.
That's very profound.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to be teaching these kids quick, younger, so then they have a better second half, right?
Yeah, but they don't. Kids nowadays, most of them can't get pulled away from their phone long enough to give you any lip. You know what I'm saying? They're so passive. They can't even.
Probably. I don't. Like I said, I don't. Every day I'm getting closer to dinosaur status.
Closer.
I'm gonna tell you,
Closer to dinosaurs.
Yeah, just closer to dinosaur. I've actually turned the circle. I'm into pre-senile dementia, I think. I was listening to Disgraceland today. Did you listen to the Bobby Brown episode?
Oh, yeah.
Where he says Bobby Brown as a little kid, tried to fry chicken, and it wasn't flour, it was cocaine that they rolled chicken in. And I laughed so hard, I was still laughing about it. So that goes to show you that my brain waves have been worn down by time. I think that was in the movie No Country for Old Men. Time has a way of flattening a man, right? So I don't know why, but I still think that's funnier than hell.
So basically, anybody that gets anything out of this episode, it's listen to the
old man. This is the old man episode. This is one where you go,
these guys might not last much longer.
Well, did you see? I haven't seen it since it came out, right? Yeah. On DVD or at Pop and Go, or what was after Pop and Go, the video store that you worked at, Blockbuster.
Friendly Video.
The old
family video.
The movie Falling Down. With,
gosh, he's just trying to get home.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at that in 1989, you thought that dude was crazy, and now you're like, yeah, I can understand that.
Hey, speaking of crazy, so I got a proposal for a commercial for Hims. You know what Hims are? It's like the male enhancement, and then the hair loss stuff.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said that we would consider the hair loss stuff.
Are they gonna pay us?
Yeah, they're
just gonna give us free samples because I got plenty of hair. I'd rather have money.
So you didn't want me to sign you up for the sexual enhancement?
I'm gonna tell you that comes hand in glove with money. If you got the green, they talk about the blue pill, but if you got the green back, them girls will take care of all the enhancement you need.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.
God only knows what time.